Sometimes when you're looking for the area enclosed by two functions, the problem is really mean to you and doesn't give you where you're integrating from. And so if we want to find the area between these two curves, we need to find these 2 points right here. In fact, we need to find the x values for these 2 points. Because when you integrate, you're integrating along the x-axis. At least that's what we've learned so far. And so in order to find the x value at these 2 points, I can look at my graph, and right here it's pretty obvious that it's -1 to 2. But what if I have a situation where I'm trying to find this area in here, I'm looking for this area in between these two curves, and I can't tell, or it falls into some goofy spot or whatever. Then what we have to do is we're just going to set these two guys equal to each other. Like, I want to know, where does 2 minus x squared equal -x? Like, I want to know where that is. And so if I can figure out where that is, then I know my x values, okay? So go ahead and treat this as a quadratic. You've got -x squared on the left, and we're going to, if we're going to treat this as a quadratic, we want all the x's on one side. And I prefer my x squared term to be positive, so I'm going to move the x squared term over, and I'm going to move the 2 over. And if you'll notice, this factors to x and x minus 2 and plus 1. And when this happens, what I'm going to end up with is that x is going to be equal to 2 and x is going to be equal to -1. You see that? Why do I know that? Because I'm going to let x equal 0 here. I'm going to let x plus 1 equal 0 here. And so when I solve those guys out, this is what I get. And now integrate top minus bottom from -1 to 2. So we're going to integrate from -1 to 2, the top equation, 2 minus x squared, minus the bottom equation. So let me add another minus the bottom equation. And it's really important that you subtract the entire bottom equation. It's not just minus x, it's minus -x. And again, with my kids, just like on the previous slide, my kids, you can punch this in. You've earned the right to do that. But if you are another student, you may not have that option. So to work it out, it really is not too painful here. We're going to have 2 minus x squared plus x. And this is what we're going to integrate. And that becomes 2x minus x cubed over 3 plus x squared over 2. And we're going to evaluate that from -1 to 2. And then the evaluation part is really simple. And remember, we're going to have stop minus start. Okay, so I'm going to have 2 times 2. Now I'm going to write this a little different because of space, but it should make sense to you. I'm going to have 2 cubed over 3 plus 2 squared over 2 minus, and then I'm going to just second row here, 2 times -1 minus -1 cubed over 3 plus -1 squared over 2. So I'm just going to go top minus bottom. Now this is going to look really weird. The math is solid, I promise. So I've got 4 minus -2, 6. Okay, I've got 8/3, -8/3 plus 1/3 minus 7/3. I've got 4 over 2 plus, which is minus 1 over 2. So that should be 3 over 2. Did I do this middle guy right? This is 8/3 minus positive 1/3. 8/3 minus 1/3. That should be 9/3. Okay, so now I've got 6 minus 3. That's 3 minus 3 halves. Okay, and 3 minus 3 halves is going to be 1.5, or 3 halves. So how much total space is in between these two guys right here? Did I do that right? Let's see, that would be 6. I feel like I got off somewhere. Found it. This should be a plus 3 halves right here. So that's plus 3 halves right here. So, sorry about that. 3 plus 3 halves should be 9 halves. Okay, 9/2 units squared. That's how much space is enclosed between this upper curve and the lower curve. So that's how you can sort this out if you have a situation where you're not sure exactly where your points intersect. This graph, it shows us it's very clear. You could also graph these two functions, 2 minus x squared and y equals negative x. You could graph them on your calculator and tell your calculator to find where they intersect as well. So there's lots of different options for this guy.